Okay, moving on to page 3. The pieces you will need. A is 10.5 inches by 5.5. B is 5 3/4 by 5 3/8. C is 4 3/4 by 5 3/4, and D is 5.5 by 2 7/8. Okay, so I'll run that through again. 5.5 by 2 7/8. C, 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. B, 5 3/4 by 5 3/8. And your A is 5.5 by 10.5. So get your scoreboard out. Your A piece, we're going to score at 5.5 along the 10.5 inch side. So 5.5. And then B, we're going to score at 1/2 along the 5 3/4 inch side. So just to make it easier for me, I'm going to score at 5 1/4. So it's still 1/2 inch. It's still 1/2 inch. I just find it easier to do this side. C, score at 1/2 along the 5 3/4 inch side. And D, you'll be scoring at 1/2 and 5/8. So 1/2. And the next tick over. So if you count them, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's literally the next tick over. Okay? So there are your pieces scored. Get this out of the way. Now we are going to add score tape to B, C, and D along that 1/2 inch section. And with the D piece, make sure you don't go over that little gusset that you just created. And the score tape's going on the valley side of your score lines. Okay, and now we're going to miter the corners. And with the D piece, just go to the first score line, the 1/2 inch score line, okay? So leave the other one intact. Alright, now get these little bits out of the way. And before we start putting things together, this is going to be a little closure flap, and I want to die cut this piece. So I'm going to use that same die cut, and I've figured out, so this is going to be the back side. So I'm going to just temporarily adhere this piece to the back so I can cut 2 out at a time. And then on the front I will put my die cut. Make sure it's straight. Okay, and I'm going to run that through my machine. Alright, for the other side, I want to do the fancy part of the die as well. So I'm temporarily adhering that so it's even with the top. So I have lined up my die. I've got both dies. This is the decorative part and this is the part that cuts out the border. So I'm going to run that through my machine. Okay, and now we'll take the dies off. And fingers crossed. Looks pretty good. And you can just tap your metal die on a hard surface and that will get most of the biddies out. Sometimes do it with dryer sheets on top, but I don't have any at the moment, so get those out of the way. And now you can also tap this to get the pieces out. And whatever doesn't come out, you'll have to use a little pokey tool. So you'll see how, because my paper wasn't quite long enough, there is this little bit here that sticks up, which I'm going to cut off. Oh, sorry, I'm off camera. I'm just poking these out. Okay, but these two little pieces, I'm going to cut those off. There we go. So that is my die. I cut there. Okay, there's that bit of adhesive gone. And set this aside, and now we will put the rest of our page together. You've got your A piece, and we'll just fold that. And now your C piece. We're going to remove the backing, and your C piece is going to go, where is it going to go? It's going to go on the inside, so open up your A piece and it's going to go on the inside flap right at the bottom. And then your B piece is going to go inside at the top. So on the top right portion of your A piece. Alright, so now you have something that looks like that. Alright, and now we are going to adhere our D piece, our die cut D piece, so fold on your score lines. And remove your backing. And it is going to go, you'll have to open it up because it has to go right on the inside of your A piece on the right. Okay, so when you close it all up, it goes over top. Alright, and now we're going to want a magnet. So a tiny piece of score tape. And then adhere 2 magnets to it. Another piece of score tape. And there you go. And now we will just quickly decorate this. And it is going to go, where's our base page? Oh, we need a new base page. And then we're just going to apply adhesive and put it directly onto your base page. Alright, so I guess we could glue it down now and then add our pattern paper. So we'll just put some ATG gun on the back here. And now this base page, you want the opening to be on the right hand side. And just eyeball it, or you could measure if you like, and just place it right down there. If you prefer, you could put pattern paper down. I'm just going to do 2 border strips myself, and there we have it. So I'm just going to quickly decorate this, staying with the same kind of peaches and blues for this one. So I'm going to quickly decorate it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what page 3 looks like. We've got that intricate die on the front, and I just used a Martha Stewart glue pen for adhering this. And you have to be really quick. That glue dries quite quickly, so you have to be really quick about it. And then you open it up, and I've just double layered one of the journaling cards, and then like that. Alright, and now we can move on to page 4. So we'll flip this over. And for page 4, you will need the following measurements. The measurements for page 4, I should say, are your A piece is 5.5 by 8.5. Your 2 B pieces are 5.5 by 4 3/4. And your C piece is 6 1/8 by 4.5. Okay, so let's get to scoring. Oops. All right, piece A. We're going to score it at half along the 8.5-inch side. So either half or 8. Your B pieces, score at half along the 4 3/4-inch side. So either half or 4 1/4. And your C piece is going to score at half and 5/8. So we're creating that tiny little gusset again because it's what's going to go over top of all of those pieces. Okay, so that's it for your scoring. And as per usual, we're going to apply score tape to the 1/2-inch sections. Sorry. I'm usually in here with not enough caffeine. I think perhaps this morning I've had too much. Okay, so score tape on all your 1/2-inch sections, and then we're going to miter the corners. Alright, miter the corners, and then I'm trying to decide what part of this I would like to die cut, if any. But I think we need something on each page. Alright, I think I am going to die cut the 2 B pieces. Okay, so let's first put our A piece on. So A is going to adhere, so make sure you've got this the right way. And I'm actually going to put score tape on the inside of this one as well, because okay, so remember how when we were doing our base pages there was some that we left open, or you might have left them all open and you're going to use them as pockets. I left a couple open that I was going to perhaps close later. This is one of those instances. So I had some score tape back there, and I'm going to remove the backing. And now I'm going to put piece A right inside that opening. That's why I've got the adhesive on both sides. So I'm essentially closing this up. Oh, am I in frame? Okay. Closing this up. So I've got adhesive on both sides of that 1/2 inch A-flap section, and now it is inside that page. Okay? And then your, let's see, your B-flaps. So let's deal with those. So we've got our A-flap on, and we're going to, I think I'm going to start measuring because I think that would really actually help me out. So I'm going to draw a line just right near the top, just so I can line it up, and then I'm going to measure the exact center. And do the same on the other side, on the other one. Just so I know that I'm getting them straight, because I tend to not get them straight. So I'm going to line up that pattern paper, and then line up our die. Run it through my die cut machine. And we should have a perfect cut edge. Alright, so there's the one. You can see the edge there. Alright, and now we're going to do the other one. Okay. Alright, so that's the front. Alright, I've got these two die cut now, but now I need to do the backs of them. So I've just taken the piece that I know I want to use, put it behind here, and then traced it out. Okay, so now I'm going to put these together because they're both the same size. One's going on each back, and then I'm going to line up my die with the lines that I've drawn, and then I'm going to run them together through my die cutting machine. And now when we peel off the die, we've got both of them cut perfectly. And now say you don't know what pattern paper you want to use yet, you can just die cut the flap and then do what I did with this and just put whatever piece of pattern paper you want on there when you figure it out, and then just trace around it, and then you'll know where to put the die cut. So don't panic if you don't know what pattern paper you want to put on these flaps. You can die cut them now and then deal with the pattern paper part later. It's not a really big issue. Okay, so now that we have got these both die cut, we can adhere them. So the one on the left is going to go directly onto the base page. So right on the very far left of the base page. And then this other one is going to go on the right, so it's going to actually attach to A. So on the very right hand side, and this is the A piece, the piece that is right here. Alright, so we've got that done, and then our C piece, fold on those lines, remove the backing, and it is going to adhere right in the center. Line it up as centered as you can. That looks pretty good. And there we go. And then this whole thing opens up. Alright, and now we want, do I want magnets or swing tabs? I think I might do a swing tab on either side here, is my plan. I'm going to grab the patterned paper that I'm going to use. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly ink them all up. I'm inking everything with black soot distress ink. So I'm going to ink those all up and then I'll be ready. Alright, I decided to also emboss these two panels. So I've used this embossing folder before. It is the Spellbinders 3D Embossabilities Shell Beauty. I love it. I've used it quite a few times. So now it is time to put our little swing tabs. I'm just using, I've cut a couple of the little, oh, this light in here is horrible. I don't know if you can see them. I've cut a couple little of the shells from the paper line, and I'm just going to use, back them on chipboard, and I'm just going to use those as my swing tabs. So let's figure out where exactly we want them to be. And I guess I want it to go in this way. Like that, and like that maybe. Alright, so first I'll punch a little hole in my little swing tabs. And I've used a little bit of gel, like a 3D gel medium on these, just to give them a little bit of shine and to make them a little more durable. And now I'm going to take a pen and just mark where I want this to go. And now I'm going to try and make the other one fairly even. So right about there. Alright, so now I will punch a hole in the paper right where that mark is. Oh, it's not going to quite reach. Oh, crocodile. Alright, get your brad. And put it through the paper. Oh, sorry if my big fat head just in the way? It probably was. Now I'll do the same for the other side. Poke the hole. And brad through said hole. Open up the tines. And moment of truth. Oh, this one could be a little bit further over. Oh, this one too. They could have been just a tiny bit over, but they work. So I think that looks pretty cute. This paper is just like ridiculously cute. I love it, love it, love it. All right, now we're just going to put the last bits of paper on here. And then we are on to page 5. And the other one. Fabulous. Excellent. Oh, I wish I'd pulled these a little bit further over. Can I move it just a tiny bit? All right, there we go. Now we will begin on 5. The pieces that you will need for page 5 are as follows. Your A piece. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, this is right. Okay, your A piece, 2 A pieces, will measure 7 by 5.5. Your B piece is 6.5 by 4.5. And your C piece is 5.5 by 4.5. Okay? 5.5 by 4.5, 6.5 by 4.5, 7 by 5.5. 2 of those. Alright, so you've got all of those. Now we will do some scoring. Alright, your A pieces score at half along the 7-inch side. So like I've been doing all along, I'm working from this side, so I'm going to score at 6.5. So as long as there's a 1/2 inch section on one side. Your B piece, you will score at half along the 4.5 inch side, or 4. And then you're going to turn it and score at half and at 6. So this is going to be a pocket. And your C piece will be 1/2 inch, oops, 1/2 inch on the, see, I just make a mess if I do it on this side. 1/2 inch on the 4.5 inch side. Alright, so those are your score marks. Put your scoreboard away. As always, we are going to apply score tape to those 1/2 inch sections, and then we're going to miter the corners. And I'm going to need some more score tape. Alright, once those are all scored and mitered and have their score tape on them, we are going to grab a new base page. So you want your opening to be on the left-hand side, and your A pieces are going to attach to the left and right of your base page. Alright, so I'm going to attach the first one to the left. And now the other one, the right one, I think I'm going to die cut this one. Alright, and now we will do the other side. So grab the piece you're going to use for the other side, line it up, draw where you want the die to be, and die cut this piece. Alright, excellent. Now we can adhere this to the right hand side of your base page. And and open her up. And we'll put our pocket down. Oh. So we've got our pocket. Feel free to die cut the pocket as well if you... Actually, nope, scratch that. Don't do that. Because there's a piece that we're putting on top of the pocket. I mean, I guess you could die cut it, but you'd also have to die cut the piece that is going on top as well. So there's your pocket, and then guess where this piece is going? So your C piece is going to adhere to the left side of your pocket and open out like that. So left side of the pocket. But I think I'm going to put it on the right hand side of the pocket instead. You can do it either way. I think I just like the way that it looks so there's not that extra piece sticking up. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And then I'll put a magnet here. Yeah, magnet here. I'm kind of making this album a little bit, I somewhat know what I'm doing, but there's a lot of things that I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here, so. Alright, place a couple magnets. More score tape. And close it up. Excellent, and we'll do one more magnet closing this flap. Haven't gone too crazy with the magnets so far in this album. I've tried to keep them to a minimum. I think we've only done, what? I don't know, probably about 12, 14, something like that. And normally my albums have about, 35. Or I guess it would be an even number usually, 36. Quite a few. Alright, and close that sucker up. And now you can add all of your pattern paper. And since I embossed the purple on the other one, I think I'm going to do the same here. So I got an idea and I ran with it. I have these things called embossing diffusers. They're from Sizzix. And what they are essentially is it's to use with an embossing folder, and so this opening here will not be embossed, or if you use the opposite part, only the circle will be embossed. And there's a couple ovals that come in the set as well. I tried using it. I haven't really used them very much. I tried using it. And I'm not sure if I just didn't have the right sandwich or what I did, but it didn't turn out perfectly. This side kind of turned out, but then it kind of faded into the embossing on that side, so it didn't turn out perfect. However, for my purposes, it works out fine. I am planning on just putting a circle there. I just wanted a flat surface to put the circle. And then I have cut a tiny little slit right there, and then I've cut out this little fish guy in the porthole with a little tag sticking out, and I'm just going to stick that tag right through the slit that I made and glue it down to the back, and then have it fold over so that. And oh, I've got a magnet, one magnet in between the pattern paper and the black cardstock. And I'm going to put one more magnet on here before I put the black paper down. And so then it'll be a little porthole that you can open up and put a picture in. So I thought that was really cute. Alright, so I'm just going to put, I'm going to glue this to the back first off. So a little bit of score tape here. Excellent. And now I will one magnet. I'll let it adhere to its partner and put a tiny bit of score tape down on it. Now this whole part is optional. I just had an idea and decided to see if it would work, which is much of my crafting experience. I'm always like, oh, I wonder if that would work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Alright, now we will adhere this other circle. Put this one down. Make sure this is lined up. Looks pretty good. Might do a little ink right there just to, I don't like the white showing. Alright, and you've got a little hole, little porthole. Alright, now we can put this piece of paper down, and it's just a tiny bit too long. I'm just going to trim a smidge off of it. I wish I had more sea-inspired things. I've got one stamp set and one embossing folder, but I would love to invest in some more because apparently I like sea stuff, and I use, I've had so many water-themed albums. I mean, I guess I do live right by the ocean, so. But I feel like I'm kind of more of a forest girl. That'll be coming next. The next album, oh, I've got some beautiful paper coming. Alright, there's the first piece of pattern paper. Now this can go on the back. Oh, gotta ink it up first though. Yeah, I'm gonna ink up all my papers and then I will put them on with you. Alright, let us get some of these, the rest of their patterned paper on. So this is going on the inside. I'm continuing with the purple and blues on these two pages. I try to always coordinate the pages that you'll see together so that you have an overall cohesive look. Excellent. This one is going to go in the pocket. So kind of just tuck it in a little bit and push it in until you get it to where you want it. Perfect. And this will go on the front. And now I'm thinking I should probably have one magnet in here holding this closed as well. So there's already one there. So we'll let it attach, put some score tape. Close it up. And now I need a piece of paper for this one. Apparently I have not cut that yet. I'll go with the darker purple and ruler. Where are you? Alright, what do we need? need? We need a piece measuring 5 1/4 by 3 3. And I always figure out what I have left at the end, and they kind of become my tags quite often. So I haven't put anything in the pocket as of yet, but from the pieces that I have left, I will know how many tags and what size, etc. That will kind of determine it. And so this is the last piece to go on. Put that sucker on there. Perfect. I'm going to leave that one blank for a photo. Close that up, and that up, and that. And there's your matching page. So this is the one just finished. So together they look pretty cool together. And now we're going to flip it over, and we are on to page 6.